What's up, traders? In this video, what I want to walk through with you guys is market structure using the rules that we outlined in the prior video last week, and then also using the zones from higher time frames, combining them to look for trades. So since last week, gang, I've been able to get the next version of these zones coded so you can see how they're printing. Okay, so they're pretty close right now. There's still a few things that need to be corrected, but that's just kind of the process that at least I go through when I'm doing coding. The next step will be you will only see these zones and these zones when they line up together. But what I want to walk through here with you guys is how you can implement these in your trading. And then I want to talk about a couple stocks that set up this week using the same logic that we talked about last week. Okay, let's go ahead and get started here. So what I'm watching for is when I have one of these zones here, the market structure zones, and I require it to print prior to these other zones printing. And what I'm looking for is just a move back into them, and then either a specific bar type, which I use 4 different bar types, or just a down red bar. So either way, I'm going to take the trade, right? And you can see on Friday, this is the S&P 500 futures. On Friday, this would have been your only trade. Not bad, right? Now, if you're a day trader and you're able to limit your trading opportunities, this is a great way to do it because you can then look at multiple markets and catch some high risk reward trades. Because I'm looking for a minimum of a 5 to 1 reward to risk, upwards of 10 to 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at some other ones. These are marked because they were wrong, so I sent that to my programmer. That's why you see that line there. Let's go back to this zone and see if we have, let's go back to the beginning of this zone and see if we have a market structure zone there. And we do, right here, see? So this zone, imagine it printing all the way across. You would have come into it here, so you would have had a loss here. Well, you would have had your first loss right here, then another loss here. And you would have been in here. And this is it only goes against you 3 ticks, so you'd still be in that trade. And then you finally start heading higher here, right? And would have hit your target up here. So you would have had a couple losses, and then you would have had your win. Here's another one. Here's your zone. Come into it first here for a loss, and then here for a win. And look at these moves, guys. That's 28 points on the ES. I mean, that's massive. That's $1,400 a contract. Okay, here we go again. Come into it right here. I don't think this one would have hit your target, but that's okay, right? All right, here's your next one. Now this one, your high of this zone. This is the high of this is wrong. He's gonna fix that, but it should be right here. So 1250. Let's see where we come into 1250. Right down here. So you would have had your entry right here for a nice trade. Now I realize this is overnight, but here's the deal. With a high reward to risk ratio and with the fact that you don't get that many trades, having this on an automated state wouldn't concern me so much. Now, I don't know why this zone isn't printing, but this is supposed to be a zone right here. Okay, so you come into it here, here, and then again there. But let's see. Prior to that, you actually would have been looking in a short. So here's a good example of once you finalize your testing, you're going to know do I even take these trades? Do I take a trade if I've rejected off of a sell zone prior to entry? Or even for a short, would I take a trade if I rejected off of a buy zone prior to entry? I don't know. Don't know the answer to that yet. Anyway, so I just want to walk through that with you. And then let's go ahead and take a look at a couple trades set up this week using the logic we discussed last week. Where's my charts? Right here. Okay, so you can see the zone right here. So the first time it comes into this zone was right here. But at this point, I don't have anything on my 15-minute that would have allowed me to take this trade. So there's no trade for me. All right? However, when we come back into it here, take a look. Oh. We come back into it right here. It's down here where we actually come into the zone. At this point, I actually have a buy zone on my 15-minute. So now I have a market structure zone on my hourly. I have a buy zone on my 240-minute chart because that's what these zones are. They're from the 240-minute chart. And then I have a buy zone on my 15-minute chart. So what am I looking for? Well, again, I'm looking for either just a green up bar or one of my bar patterns. And here is my first bar pattern right here, but then we close below it. And then this is also a bar pattern. So what I'm looking for then at this point would just be an entry, one penny above here. So let's call it 92.65. My stop is going to be based off this bar's ATR, which is 25. So I'm going to use a 25-cent stop, and you can see price comes down to 92.42. So it would have been close to a stop out, but I'm risking 25 cents to make $2.50. So I kind of like this visual, but let's go ahead and do the risk reward. So your actual entry is at 64. So 64 down to 39 is my risk. That's 25 cents. So let's go ahead and let's color this red because that's the risk. My potential reward is going to be $2.50. So that's going to take me to what, 95.14? It's almost silly, right? I mean, look at that risk reward. Gang, how many systems do you know that can actually achieve this and do it on a regular basis? So you would have been in this trade for, let's see, it would have triggered on Monday morning. So what's the 23rd? Was that Monday? Yeah. So it would have triggered on Monday morning. I'm just gonna double check that right now. Yeah, it is. Okay. And then you would not have hit your target until this gap up here on Thursday. So you would have been in this trade for most of the week, and you just would have sat on it and waited, right? But here's your target. Okay, so that's one. I'm gonna leave those on there. The other one, and this actually happened. I do a live training for my members every Wednesday, and this trade actually set up, and we talked about it in the room on Wednesday's training. But so this one's interesting, okay? So if we look at this zone, you can see here's your market structure zone right here, right? So what I was waiting for was either a buy zone on the 15-minute or a market structure zone on the 15-minute. And right here is your market structure zone, right here on your 15. Now, here's the one thing that I failed to mention while we had training on Wednesday, but I only care about the actual market hours. I don't care about the after-hour trading. So this particular trade, here is the close of the market on this bar. You can see that these bars are not regular looking bars, right? It doesn't open again until right here. So if we remove all of this junk, okay, knowing that this right here is my zone, ignore all of this. Here's my first bar. So price comes into it perfectly. My entry, unfortunately, is going to be all the way up here, right? So my ATR is going to be based off of this bar, which is 22.3. So I'm going to round that down to 22. So I'm going to try, I'm shooting for $2.20. I'm going to risk 22 cents to make 220. So if we go in here, we know that the entry is going to be above this bar. So that's going to be 60.92. Okay, I get filled on this bar. So 60.92 down to 70 right here. This bar right here almost gets me, right? So I end up taking 20 cents of heat. So it would be 2 cents from my stop out. So let's color this red. And then we're looking for $2.20. So that's going to take me up to 63.12. You can clearly see it got hit, right? Did I do that right? I'm in at 60.92. So $2 would be 62.92. So yeah, 63.12. And so you can see that got hit. So there may have been more trades that set up, but here's my limitation right now, gang. I don't have the time to scroll through 500 charts every night. So I'm waiting to get these zones coded so that I can just get my screener can just send me trades that I can look at. Because my guess is out of those 500, I only would have to look at about 10 per night. And imagine, guys, if you're risking 1% of your account per trade and you have a $10,000 account, that's $100. 2 trades last week could have made you $2,000. Now, I'm sure there would have been some losses in there, but my guess is there wasn't 20 losses. So you can do the math, gang. This right here is killer. And the ability to put in place the same type of strategy that I just showed you in forex, where I can just go in, I can hit an up arrow, and it will trade it for me, that's killer. All right, gang, hope you all enjoy your weekend, and I'm going to continue putting stuff like this out because, gang, this is something I'm super excited about. So I think this is a way that everybody needs to learn how to trade. And so just stay tuned, get on the list, go to my website, get on the list so that you can stay tuned with everything that's put out.